Welcome back to On Rate Podcast. Another episode here. Elijah alongside Grant. We're gonna hop into a little bit of Michigan. Follow up with what's been seemed like a couple rocky weeks as far as Michigan football goes. Seem to have all of our coaches tied up for who we're gonna have for 2022 season,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna slide into basketball. A lot happening in the NBA. This might be a busy night, following into mid afternoon tomorrow. So, we're kicking off the Michigan football here. What are your thoughts on, kind of all that has happened over the last couple of weeks?
yeah. It's almost. I feel like it's kind of good that we took a week and was able to kind of like let it, happen. And it's like we would have got on here last, we would have been all pissed off and just kind of like, thinking the program might be in shambles now, even though the whole world already kind of thinks that. But I don't blame Harbaugh for, kind of just testing the waters. That just tells me that he knows what he's doing. He's doing it at a very high level. So I hope that'll kind of like motivate him to just kind of like continue to climb as far as just like helping Michigan kind of get back, get to, the playoff again, like win another Big Ten championship, like, all that good stuff. I so when it comes to like Harbaugh, I think like last week I was kind of like, man, he about to like try to like leave us high and dry. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of like stung, but then I'm like, all right, like looking at it from like his lens, he who would want to go coach in the NFL, especially if he has as much success as he did. Like that's, he wants to get to the Super Bowl. You can't blame him for like pursuing those aspirations. Um, I just kind of hope that like next time, because I'm sure it'll come around again, like this time next year, especially if they like win another Big Ten championship or just do really well again. I just kind of hope that he has it kind of like buttoned up a little sooner and not like, early February. Like, and I know we already had our signing class all squared away, so like signing day we were already kind of done, so it didn't like really have a huge impact on that. But you know, it was I could definitely see like why there might have been some animosity, in Ann Arbor, just like here and there, a lot of stuff that we've heard. But yeah, I mean, I think today I'm like, all right, like I'm a little more content. Like I feel like we, kind of weathered the storm there, and we should be, moving forward pretty smooth sailing here from here on out.
Yeah, I think I, I guess I don't blame him for trying to test the waters a little bit in the NFL. Obviously, he had a great tenure with the 49ers when he was there. But at the end of the day, I think you're right when you said it was the timing of it all. It was
Mm-hmm.
mid, mid late January, heading into February, when all these rumors started spinning. And although our signing class was shored up, if he would have been on the hunt a little more, maybe we could have took a couple more random players, and that
Yeah,
could be the difference down the line of another championship, a Big Ten championship, or maybe that's the difference in getting not getting blown up the field versus Georgia in a few years. Um,
right.
so I think it does have a ripple effect to some degree. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to see that we have transitioned into what seems like another pretty good young defensive coordinator. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's Jesse Minter. I watched a couple of videos on him, seen that he actually coached under Mike McDonald
Mm-hmm.
with the 49ers. He was the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt last year. He's been a defensive coordinator at another stop in college as well before. So I
Yeah.
think he's proven he's pretty young. So I think it's proven that he has a ability to coach when you
Yeah.
put in that many head spots as far as being the head man in charge of a defense. So I think all that being said, I do like where we're headed with that. That also being said, he's going to not change the defense up too much,
Yeah.
and or hopefully he does bring some wrinkles that are new and wrinkles that are unique to him, but ultimately it's not going to be too much new lingo for the defense to catch on to. You're not rocking the boat too much, so
Right.
that's something I am. I feel pretty good about, and as well as Sharon Moore,
Yeah.
promoting
That's
him from within.
right. And one thing about Sharon Moore is what I just kind of been reading stuff on Twitter. It sounds like Gaddis was kind of the one that wanted to go with Cade, or uh, Sharon Moore and Matt Weiss, um, they were more kind of like on the JJ train. So it'll just be interesting to see, like, will it be, kind of like a 2-man race in spring ball? I'm obviously gonna let them have them like really competing, because if I just don't really see them doing the 2-man like this upcoming season, especially after JJ, not a freshman no more, got the playbook under his belt, all that good stuff after spring ball this year. Um, but it'll be like you said, it was a couple of just pieces shifted around. Obviously Gaddis, like, respect to him, like, came in, turned the offense way around from like a couple years back. Some of the stuff we was watching 3-4 years ago, before he got there. He definitely was able to like make things a little bit more stable on that side of the ball. But it sounds like, I mean, from what I've been reading as far as offense, it might be a little more explosive this year, if they end up giving JJ the reins fully. So I think he was pretty productive, in his role that he was playing last year. A little careless with the ball here and there, but he has the opportunity to get bigger, stronger, understand the playbook better, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I do think it's a it's a tough game, obviously, and it is a business. I do think it's rough for Cade. I think he's a very solid quarterback,
Yeah,
and it's he technically was the starter throughout the season. He
yeah,
had the bulk share of the victories go to him. Obviously, JJ made plays throughout the year that obviously helped tag it along, and they were a good duo. But
yeah,
I think I don't know if you can reverse the roles and have it where Cade or JJ runs his offense and they bring Cade in for little mini packages. I don't
Mhm.
see that working to the same degree because he's not as dynamic of an athlete. He's not
Yeah,
gonna, he's not gonna get loose and take off running. So it is rough. It's a business. So I do feel bad, but I can't anticipate him going in as a starter next year.
yeah,
I think they're gonna hand the reins over to JJ, just more dynamic and and hopefully he can play within himself. That's the one thing I do fear of him is maybe he'll try to push it too much. We got mad at Cade McNamara for maybe being a bit too conservative, but
yeah,
ultimately that did get us to a Big Ten championship. So it'll
right.
be interesting to see if we turn it up a little bit. Yeah, we might blow out some teams a little more impressively throughout the year, but are we gonna maybe have um,
More
yeah,
turnovers.
yeah, it'll be a little more turnover prone, or just the offense is not as efficient and fine tuned. So that's something that I do fear as far as turning over to him. But ultimately, I do think we kept the coaches young. He sees that was the right path last year, as far as making it young, making it interesting,
Yep.
and yeah, I feel good. I feel like we're headed in the right direction, and JJ is a young superstar.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Cade, because if JJ gets named the starter, you got to assume he's probably going to transfer, right? Like, I think he's what? I think when he was starting during that 2020, he was like a redshirt freshman or
Yeah,
sophomore.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he
So
probably has like at least 2 more years.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And just with that COVID year too, they got like that extra, year if they wanted. So he's probably got anywhere from like 2 to 3 years. So yeah, no, and one thing that also that keeps me pretty optimistic and like, didn't have me like pushing the panic button was like, you ain't hear about nobody transferring, only losing what Haskins, um, like one O lineman, if
yes,
I'm not
Stewart.
mistaken.
Yeah,
And
Stewart.
then yeah, and we replaced him with a 3-year starter that
Yep.
came from Virginia.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
off receivers still got both of them get Ryan Bell back on defense. Only lost Ojabo and
You got Corum. Like you said, you lost Haskins, but you're going to bring in Edwards. Uh,
yeah.
yep. So I think we're yeah we got a lot of pieces.
Mhm.
Defense we are losing a lot, obviously, but we if you look across my last 7-8 years, we constantly are putting in NFL players and bringing up the young crop
Oh yeah.
is equally as good. Yeah, they might be defense might slide a little bit for a year or two, but ultimately they always um,
No,
develop and become good. So I think, yeah, we're defense. I'm not as worried about long term
right.
everything. That's
And I
just
mean, there's guys like yeah, yeah. But there's guys. I mean, we were able to snag I think a 5-star from Clemson. Safety. He'll end up being a starter. There's a guy even Jalen Harrell. He split decent amount of snaps with Ojabo last year.
yeah,
to where I mean Ojabo was still obviously very productive, a lot more productive than Harold was, but like Harold came in and made some pretty good plays against Ohio, made some pretty big plays in the Big Ten championship, and yeah, I mean I just think as a whole like Michigan football, they're on like regardless of like the bad loss to Georgia, and then even then they lost to the national champion, so it's kind of just like whatever, like this is move forward. But I feel like they're like got the confidence to where and look at the schedule. I think they could definitely repeat or be in that situation where they control their own destiny come late November next later on this year.
No, I
So
agree. I do. I agree. I feel good, coming off of last year. Even after the loss that didn't look too hot.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I do. I generally feel good. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
Time will tell. So I like yeah, now it's just like, Harbaugh hope we can get in there and, give him a spiel like, hey, I'm back, I'm here to stay, tell them whatever they gotta hear. Luckily, a lot of kids have kind of come out and say like, I'm staying at Michigan regardless, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really like I'm just glad he didn't spark anybody to be like, all right, I'm about to be out the door, if this dude is, like it timing was really the thing where it got a little dicey there towards the end, but he's back. That's our coach, so I'm very optimistic, very excited for the upcoming football season. So
100%. Yeah, no, I guess just to slide over to basketball. I think is tomorrow officially the trade deadline. I
yeah, I
think
believe the deadline's like
tomorrow
tomorrow, like
yeah,
4 o'clock or something like
yeah.
that.
So probably I would be willing to imagine a lot's going to happen. At least a lot of potential uh,
Hmm.
trades out there. I'm not sure if you want to start out with the bigger teams, but
Yeah.
potential. Right before we hopped on, you talked about something that's potentially crazy that the Lakers might do.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
yeah. I think yeah, just kind of I know you're a KD guy, I'm a LeBron guy. Both of them teams have been very underwhelming. That was probably the biggest like everybody could wait for Lakers Nets in the finals. Like that, you would have swore that was gonna be like Thanos versus the Avengers or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of disappointed we're not gonna see that. But yeah, I mean it's clear. Russ has been playing well. Um, I thought something was very telling yesterday. Like some of the comments that he made, he was just like almost saying like I kind of deserve the right to be in the fourth quarter because of what I did in the past. And I don't know. I think he's just kind of like I wouldn't call him broken because I mean I ain't gonna call another grown ass man broken or nothing like that. But like I do feel like he is kind of like it might be time for them to maybe move on. And John Wall sound like it might be a possible option. I don't think I don't know. I think it's just gonna be kind of interesting to see what happens because I would say John Wall is more probably like a better scorer. Like he can hit an open jump shot, like with confidence, like consistently. To where Russ is, kind of needed to be at the, go to the basket more, and just kind of tends to move around a little too fast. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it's going to be for either of them, either teams. Harden got issues with what's all going on in Brooklyn. They're basically. It sounds like they're like both Brooklyn and Philly are locked up over one player. Like if basically if Philly gives them one extra player that Brooklyn wants, they'll let him go. But time is time is running out. So I'm just I'm just kind of curious to see how things unfold for both of those teams. A lot of the teams in the league too, because this is always a good time of the year where that one move could put somebody in the playoffs or in the finals or like like in like that contender category. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. I just I can't imagine trading for a player that hasn't played all year. It
Yeah.
seems kind of different than like even a Ben Simmons who is in the peak of his prime, never been major injured. I think John Wall. I think has he played maybe 50 games since he's really been back. So I would say it's it'd be just a crazy thing to do just to get rid of Russ. If you think he's that
Mhm.
much of an issue on the team, it I don't know. I just don't know if you can consider that. Starks are crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I, no, I feel you. I think for them it's more just because I think we said before we hopped on here it was like the contracts, like one for one. They're basically,
Yeah. No, I'm
I'd
yeah,
say
that's very true.
same player. But like, I agree. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't really, you know, there's got to be a couple other options
Would
besides just
you
going to get
expect him to
Giannis.
play?
Huh?
Would you expect him to come and play this year?
John Wall?
Hmm.
Yeah, like he's fully healthy. They just like they were just like we don't really. We're trying to get they tried to get rid of
Trying to
him when the
tank a
season
little bit.
started.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they tried to get rid of him when the season started, and then they're thinking about bringing him back. But now it's like, why bring him back? They kind of already got rotations and everything squared out. They're just in rebuilding mode to where it's like ain't really no point in trying to bring him back and trying to work him into rotation and stuff like that. Like I think like they're in a trade for him, he'd probably be ready to go like pretty much like a week or so, I'd assume. But I don't even think that's not really gonna be an answer. I might think make things a little bit better, but I mean just their Lakers team as a whole, like it's just like they're not playing very well at all.
Right.
And I always put the blame. I still say it falls on like I mean obviously LeBron was one that called the shots as far as like who to trade for and whatnot. But AD just still like is just not like he's just sleepwalking.
Well,
Like
yeah, and I think they would have expected AD to completely take a couple of notches up by now, and obviously be healthy more consistently. But I think by now, I mean, he's not his numbers aren't necessarily horrible, but he's not picking up the extra slack and making
right,
as far as you would expect him to do as a prime player. He was the number one player in our class in 2011. So when you consider that, he's 20, what, 28, 29, 30 years old, somewhere in that window. And, I just, you would expect him to, at this moment in time, to, to be at the apex, to really, really push it every night and really put up, Joel Embiid type numbers,
yeah,
where he's just a dominant force.
like night in night out.
Yeah.
And like what kind of kills me. Last time they played the Bucks, and that's like his matchup. I mean, that's Giannis has scored like 40, like 44, 45 both times, and I mean, I get it. He's on a better team right now, but like AD just is not taking nothing personal. Like he's just out there, like he he don't just have like that. I mean, everybody kind of like talk about how just have like that dog. Like I don't. He just doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't have like that. He don't consistently have that killer mentality. Like whether he's, I don't know. I mean, you out there. Obviously, they're athletes. Playing at a very high level. But I just never understand how he's always on the ground. Like hurt. And that like he falls. It's like he's grabbing something. Like it just to me, he just seems so like not very interested sometimes. Like he's kind of just like out there going through the motions. But it's like, how do you watch Giannis just drop 45? Like, how are you just like watching him just like dismantle this team like this? I get it, it's not just like him out there, but like like I said, AD was number one player coming out of high school, number one draft pick, like multiple All Stars, like NBA champ. Like we've seen him average 30 and 15, no problem. It's like when he's doing that like 25, 26 years old. But like now, like, I don't know if he just got a ring and is like just kind of like whatever. But I just kind of feel like he's just kind of like out there, just kind of going through the motions. Like Giannis had like 30 at half, and he had like 10 or 12. And you cannot like allow yourself to like go through the motions that bad. Your team is getting destroyed like that. So
Yeah. No, he's an interesting player, and I guess just to kind of transition to the Nets. I think they're a completely different type of dumpster fire as far as one of the players won't get the vaccination, so he can only play half the time. That's obviously, regardless how you feel about that, that's a detriment to the squad, to
yeah,
the team, to that organization and what they have going on. And when you consider just that James Harden showing up out of shape, them trading all the young players. I think it's just and then KD goes down. It's just a really kind of like messed up situation. I don't know if they have a real coach.
mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. So I don't have a real coach, and I watched there's a video going around on Twitter, them just kind of doing like a ridiculous lackluster offense.
Yeah,
I just
it's just
I
crazy
think
because like whenever like I mean we've first of all they only played together for 20 games like the last 3 years or however long they've been there, which is that's nuts to me. I didn't know that. And then like they all just like can play the 1 through the 4. So it's like I think this is the first time I've seen them without any of them.
Right.
Like so, I mean, it really is like a lot of them guys out there playing second fiddle, like. But then when the defense not sagging off of you, or like they not watching you in back cuts and stuff like that, like they're just like playing everybody straight up because they ain't got to worry about Harden, Kyrie, or Irving, or Harden, Kyrie, or KD. Um, yeah, and this is where it's like we kind of go back to, I mean, Steve Nash kind of is getting that job without a ton of coaching experience. It's just like I feel like even though you don't have like some of your guys, like still got to be able to like make sure your team is run like a formidable offense. But I mean, he's doing what he can. When you got, like I said, I think I saw they had like 28 games left, and Kyrie's only going to be available for like 10 of them. And then if Harden don't get traded, he's definitely gonna. I can see him pulling Ben Simmons and saying my hamstring's fucked up, and I'm gonna just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my precious time, to like get back. And then I don't remember when KD got hurt, but they said 6 to 8 weeks. You got to imagine that's gonna be more like a 9 to 10. They might shut him down if it's, if they, play in, or what I'm saying, like if it gets any worse now. I think they're in like the 6th seed. So it's just a lot. It's a lot going on, and the injuries bug's always kind of been like their kryptonite. Harden was durable up until the last couple years. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, a different dumpster fire for sure.
Yeah, I only bring this up because I was looking it up when I did a little research. So obviously, LeBron left Cleveland to go to the Lakers. Brooklyn had a trade with Cleveland during that. I think they got, or no, no, no. One of the players left to go to Cleveland. That was Allen. So the big center, I can't think of his name, but
With Jared Allen,
yeah. Yeah. So was he traded?
no, he got traded from Brooklyn to
Yeah.
Cleveland, I think.
Cleveland, yeah. So what I'm saying is, Cleveland. Who would have guessed Cleveland would have a third, like they'd be like 33-25 or 33-26,
Yeah,
and
with two of Brooklyn's
better
old players.
a better record than both of the team, both the
Yeah.
Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. I was just kind of like amazed when I seen that they were doing. They're like fourth in the East right now. So
Well, it's
uh,
funny because it's like when do obviously they still got a lot of time left, like to play, but it's like when do you want to just stop like shipping off all this young talent for like this multi-year all-star, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's that happy medium? Because I mean, even with the like with the Nets, like I think Harden's like 32, KD's up there in age, Kyrie is like I think he's around more like our age, but it's like when is it, you know, it's hard even worth like the 4 draft pick or the 4 players and like a draft pick at this point.
right,
He's got a bum hamstring. He's obviously not doing what he needs to do to stay in shape and stay healthy. So it's like, but it's kind of funny because Cleveland was kind of like, oh yeah, just take all these young kids and figure it out. But like 2 3 years later, now they're in the 4 seed, in climbing.
right, right, and and it's interesting because I think the Pistons are in a very unique spot to have a young player. I looked up $33 million in cap space, which
Yeah.
could be like $50 million if they find a way to get rid of Jeremy Grant. So
Hmm.
when you consider that our young draft pick that we have, we're gonna have like a top 5 pick, hopefully. Depending on how the dominoes fall on that. But
Yeah.
you're even rocking the Pistons hoodie right now. So I would say we're all feeling good about the situation. Good
Yeah.
about where we're headed. I know we each wanted to talk about you know, obviously we don't have to look forward to the playoffs this year, but potentially we could ramp it up real quick, depending on how the offseason goes, depending on how the draft goes, and so how would you build the squad? If you're a GM for this offseason, GM headed into the next couple of years, how are you spending this offseason? How are you, how are you kind of forming the team around Cade, around Cade, around
Yeah. Barry and all of them.
yeah,
Yeah. So I honestly, I'm probably giving up Jeremy Grant. Like right now, they want 2 firsts, which I like. He ain't that good. Like I probably would have been shipped him to like Boston for like a 1 and like Marcus Smart or something like that. Like kind of the. So I think right now, if I were to look at the Pistons as far as like a lineup standpoint, the biggest things that I see is point guard. Like now, it's one of those things where you got to kind of decide if you want Cade to be the point guard, or you want him to play off the ball. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to that, and then like that 4 and 5. I like Isaiah Stewart. I just he to me he don't like we kind of compare him like a baby Ben Wallace, but he don't have that like defensive intensity, at least from what I've been able to see that Ben Wallace did. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's still, he's young, so he's still kind of like trying to
He
get
throwing them
into a
hands like
flow.
man. He throwing them,
Huh?
I see he throwing them hands like man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We saw it. Yeah. We know he can do that. Yeah, for sure. But I just think if they could just try to like ideally, if we could mess around and get the kid Jabari Brown or Jabari Smith,
Smith from
yeah, Jabari Smith from Auburn.
yep. That's what I was
Um,
gonna bring up. So yeah, I agree.
if we can get him, and I'm just looking like hypothetically, say we trade Jeremy Grant in the first to Boston for uh, Marcus Smart, like we trade Jeremy Grant for Marcus Smart like a first. That's just like hypothetically speaking. And then if we can, but if like so we can just kind of work him in and just kind of work what we got from here on out. And then the draft comes, you know, hopefully we can get that kid from Auburn. And then also when free agency comes, I'd probably be targeting just like shooting, more wing defenders, and just more like just a little bit more stability at like the 4 and the 5. It's like specifically the 5. Just like having, I want somebody that can like,
I got a perfect name for that.
what's up?
Nurkic.
Oh, Nurkic? Yeah, I mean, I want somebody that has a little bit more of like that. Like somebody you got to respect on offense. Like right now, Isaiah Stewart is just out there rebounding, playing defense. Like I love his game. But like just how the NBA is now, it's just kind of hard to like he's kind of a liability on offense at the moment. So I just think if they're able to just kind of like sure up, with like a Nurkic. Um, I mean, I'd even like I heard the thing about like the dude Mitchell Robinson
I like
from
that.
he's got a little bit of a better
Yep.
offensive game,
Yeah.
rim defense, like rim protector, a little taller, like longer. Um, I think that somebody either him or like Nurkic, like yeah, I mean I think that'd be like very ideal, just to kind of sure it up. 'Cause I think we got the core, we got Cade. Killian might even come off the bench now, which I mean I feel like the production he was having, that's more like a bench type role, so that's fine until we kind of figure out what else we do with him. Got Sadiq Bey. You got some of these guys like Josh Jackson, Corey Joseph, so that the depth and the like veteran, the veteran part of the crowd, it's already kind of getting there. We just need to get a little bit more of a veteran presence, a little bit more star power in there to really start to like put things together.
Yeah. So I would say I'd second Jabari Smith all day. I looked at his stats a couple of times. I watched him play like a half a couple of weeks ago. Um,
Yeah, real deal.
watched a bunch of highlights, and he's shooting like 45% from the two and like 43% from three. So he's athletic. He can run the court a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a perfect matchup with Cade. That's a action pack. That's moving the ball. And so I would say I don't know if you want to shape Cade's game either way. I think you would kind of so as far as him bring the ball up or him not. So I would say you probably would want him, to kind of do both a little bit. And I think the answer to that is having a point guard that can shoot. So either way, they can play off. If they can play off the ball, then it wouldn't matter. If he takes his time to bring the ball to the court and run
Yeah.
it to him, you're just not a dead man standing there. So that's kind of my answer to that. I like the Nurkic idea. He that's just a name I've seen. I was looking through the free agency list. He was on there. I can't imagine he's going to cost for too much money. But that's just a good guy that that you can kind of lock up for center for a few years. Probably always be a good, pretty trade bait as well. And then I don't know. I kind of I don't know. I would really think we should get rid of Jeremy Grant. I just hopefully we can get another contract that's expiring sooner rather than later off that as well. I don't want to
Yeah.
lock up too much money. Um,
Yeah.
so but I think we have a lot of a great hand, and
Mhm.
we continue to play well. I mean, I think we can probably trade Jeremy Grant at the pickup of a call, probably 10 different teams right now. Yeah. So I would say,
The two first thing, I just don't understand that. Like, I don't, because Jeremy Grant wants to be like the star and be extended and
yeah.
everything.
Well, what I heard was we're not afraid to take it into the draft.
Yeah, that's what my
Um,
thought was. I figured that too.
so I don't know. That's obviously. I don't typically there's not too many big draft day trades. But I who knows?
It ends up just being like kind of like players getting traded, like that just got drafted. They kind of like end up doing like the switch blue here and there and whatnot. Had the big bombshell one with Russ getting traded like right before the draft this past year. But yeah, you're right. I mean, not really. It doesn't really happen a ton. But yeah, and I just think at this point, it's like you would hope that free agents just don't see that we're going to be probably like 20 and like 62 or something like that. I
Oh,
hope that they would see. Okay,
and another name, I was literally saying a thing. My fault. It's my fault.
they're
Um,
good.
Miles Bridges.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did say he want to stay in New Orleans his whole career though. But I think sometimes people just say that type of stuff. But yeah, I would.
Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Um, who knows? I don't necessarily know if we should give him, $150 million, but
yeah,
I think if the right contract is wrong, I think I look at his shooting, he can shoot pretty well. I think he's like a 34% three shooter. A couple times he's up in like I think he had 40 a couple times.
yeah. He's
So
what you want. It's like prototypical, like three or four, like that wing player.
obviously very explosive. Be
Yeah,
exciting to watch. So yeah, that was the name I thought of that you can also get in free agency. But
yeah.
my fault.
So I just think like Jeremy Grant, like you can like I'd rather have somebody that's like averaging like 15 and like 8 or 9, like playing harder defense. Like he just out there trying to score 30 every night. Like I don't. I mean, I don't love seeing a stat line of like 25, like 2 and 2. You 6'11", like go get rebound. Just like you gotta. If you
Yeah,
want to be the guy, you gotta play like the guy. You can't just be like
yeah,
out here
you can
trying to
get that
just.
up to you can get that up to 7. You can get that.
Yeah, like you. I mean, yeah, like if you want to be the guy, like work to like be the guy. Like make it
Well,
to where obviously, yeah, like obviously you got Cade. He has the ball in his hands quite a bit. Like
yeah,
100% does. I just feel like with Jeremy Grant, like I don't. I mean, it's impressive, but like just dropping 25 and losing efforts night after night. Like we can get younger. He can get two guys that kind of do what he does, pay them less. You know what I'm saying? Just like work around that type of stuff to where it's like he could just go be the guy. I don't send him to Sacramento. Like, that kind of seems like some of the places where they just maybe a good way to kind of unload players like him. But and I'm not. I mean, he's not a bad player. I don't like
yeah.
hate him.
Michael Bagley and
I actually, yeah. I mean, that would be. I would just say like how his game is compared to Jeremy Grant's. I mean, he came from Duke, so I'm not like too fond of him, but I just feel like how he like how Jeremy Grant plays at that position is just not the fit that they're looking for.
I agree,
So
especially now with Cade. Um,
right.
you really do. You gotta blow it up and build around him. You can't.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I would say like yeah, but like, and I just pray that it's Sadiq Bey and Stewart like gotta keep, especially Sadiq Bey.
yeah, no, I agree. I think Stewart's becoming more expendable. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because yeah. So I think he's becoming more expendable, especially if you get like a Jabari Smith. Um,
Hmm.
you know, obviously they play a 4 or 5, but I think just getting a bigger presence, more explosive big man, then you can just, it kind of makes change of everything. Because but um, I anticipate, I do not anticipate Jeremy Grant being on the team. I think he's going to get traded. I just hope we make the right move. And stalling these teams out might not be the worst idea. I think somebody might turn around and give you 2 firsts. Who knows?
Yeah, they might smart. They may budge, around tomorrow at noon Eastern time, where it's just like, all right, we need something. We need somebody. Um, I just, yeah, like, I mean, I don't even think like, I mean, it was probably tough for Houston to, or Brooklyn to give 2 firsts up for Harden. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like 2 firsts. I mean, I get like 1 first, but 2 firsts, bro. Like, my man's ain't even been an all star. They're like 2 firsts. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of crazy to me. I just hope that stuff like that don't like stall us out or like make it to where we don't make as good of a deal because we're being that kind of
Yeah,
stingy.
it's a
But it
backfire.
could work out.
Yeah,
Also,
it's a
could work
gamble.
out.
It's a gamble. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But like, obviously we ain't in them rooms and war rooms. They're making all these phone calls and everything. But like, just the idea of like holding on to him unless they get 2 first round picks to me is just insane. So we'll see.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. It's it's I just like I said for us, it's realistically not next year, maybe the year after. It's like all right, like we need to really start to see some, uh,
Hmm.
some improvement, and just hope that we're making the correct moves and just signing the right free agents and not overpaying nobody.
Yeah.
So, and then try
Completely.
and hopefully attract people to come to Detroit too.
Yeah, I seen something that said last time we had this much money in free agency, we signed Charlie Lillard away in Big.
And Josh Smith,
Yeah.
oh my God, they gave him like
Yeah.
25, 30.
I'm not gonna lie. I did think that was gonna work. We
Yeah,
made
he just
some
likes to
big
shoot
we made
threes.
some big rapids in that when we didn't have it. I thought that was gonna work.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it was exciting just because like he's good. He was a good player. He just got here and was like he shot like 20% from three. He was shooting like 8 threes a game. It's like,
Dre was shooting 20% from the free throw, and we was horrible. We just
yeah. So I will say, even though they're like 12-42 or something like that, I mean, I'm optimistic. It's a
But
well controlled
I
dumpster fire.
I agree. We threw about 15 in them games. Not
Yeah,
we threw about we said 12. We threw about 8 of them.
yeah, that's fine.
We
All right.
threw. Because I watched a couple times, and I'm like, damn, we up, and then all of a sudden we lost. I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I'm fully expecting like they got like 30 games left. Win like 8 of them, 20-62. That's probably going to be. I mean, somebody might be touching more 65, 67 losses, but we'll definitely be in the mix to get a top 5 pick, and that's just really what we got to just kind of look forward to at this point.
yeah, no,
So,
sure. Uh, yeah, no, I know this is all we playing, but real quick, Super Bowl score, and then we leave for the people.
Super Bowl score. I'm gonna say 27, 27, 13 Rams. Yep.
All right. Well, 35-21 Rams.
Okay. Stafford, Super Bowl MVP. Yeah. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good game.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's all we had this time around. We'll tune in next week.